Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the third edition of these little season reviews that I've been doing on my Orkney save that I'm streaming over on Twitch. Like I said, this is the season 3 review, so let's get into it and let's see how things have changed from the previous two. Remember, we've had 2 seasons now in the North Caledonian League, 2 seasons where we've got to the playoff finals and lost unfortunately over 2 legs, so we haven't yet got promoted. So let's see how we get on in the third season. You have to excuse my voice and my nose. I'm a little bit sniffly. I was away over the weekend, so I think that's where it's come from. But yeah, let's get into it and let's see how season 3 went down. I thought I'd start off by just showing you the players that we obviously released or didn't have after the end of second season. Obviously, we're not selling any players for any money here. There's no one being sold or anything like that. So I've highlighted, or I did have highlighted, the players down here that we released at the end of last season. So if you remember, we had a couple of new Northern Irish contingent that we'd got over from the Northern Irish leagues. Both of them are released. I actually wanted to keep Dylan Whiteway, but unfortunately he just didn't want to stay any longer. Craig Truesdale, we also decided, he didn't want to stay as well. And Dryly, we also said we weren't going to keep either. Burbage as well just wasn't quite good enough for us, and Justin Watson again just didn't want to stay. And I think ultimately it's my own fault as the manager. I didn't treat these players in the right way. So when it came to contract time at the end of the season, they weren't happy because promises weren't met. Rob Dryden, another one that I believe I wanted to keep. I'm going to have to just remind myself here. Yeah, I wanted to keep him as a backup left back, but again, didn't want to stay. And yeah, Watson was the midfielder. Burbage was the sort of older winger who actually ended up retiring, it turns out. Truesdale was the midfielder that I wanted to sort of nurture into a ball-winning midfielder, but didn't really happen. And then yeah, Whiteway and Dryly were the centre halves. A bit further down that list, we had Jamie Tullett. He'd actually been loaned out and wasn't getting any game time, and he was a youngster. He wasn't going to play for us, so I let him go as well. And then Dylan Dykes, yeah, was another midfielder that just didn't quite cut the mustard. So yeah, those were the players to leave. Obviously, there was no real release players sort of after that, so it doesn't come under this season. So now let's have a look on the players who came in. I actually, to tell a bit of a lie there were a couple of players that did actually sort of leave as such. John Pickles, he left as well. He'd already agreed a contract, so technically it comes under as a transfer. But in terms of the players we brought in, you can see here that obviously the likes of Burbage, who'd come in and then been released. Greg Stewart, we already knew who was already here. And then it's these four, really. These are the four that I want you to sort of draw your attention to. So these are the four players we brought in. Brett Galvin was a midfielder, really strong midfielder. As you can see, we've already got him signed on for next season. He's only 20, and he sort of was playing as this sort of attacking midfielder. His stats are starting to go down a little bit. That's just because of sort of the way his season's panned out. But he's been a really strong player for us this year, and it's been a really good acquisition, I'd say, in that midfield, as we knew. Lewis Ebbs was a backup left back. He's already going. He's already going to be out the door. No real need to keep him. We can just find somebody else to fill in because we've already got Henderson there, and I'll get on to Henderson a little bit later as to why we only need a backup. And then after that, we got in Dean Watson. So I should say that these transfers, the reason why I'm flicking between the 2 seasons is technically these transfers fall under the 23-24 season, and after a certain date, it then become the 24-25. I like to do a lot of my business quite quite early on in the window, so I end up getting some signings that technically fall under the other season. So that's just why that's happening. Yeah, Dean Watson, really good midfielder. He sort of became the ball winning midfielder, so to speak. I don't know what I'm doing with him. I don't know if he wants to sign a new contract going into the next season, into the fourth season. I've been away from the game for a few days, so I'll have to sort of refresh my memory. But he was a good player. When I signed him, I thought he was a really good player. I don't think he played as much as I thought he was going to play, just because we had other players that played better in that area, mainly Galvin playing alongside Stewart. We sort of had those three as the core of the midfield, but we were only playing two, so that was why that changed. But yeah, he was a useful player. And then Jack MacArthur, who we got on a free, again was a decent centre half that was quite young, really nice technicals, but the physicals and the mentals elsewhere weren't very good. But yeah, bit of a squad player at centre half that we needed after we lost one of the last Pickles brother, and that then brings us on to technically this season, and we brought in 4 players. So Finn Cheney, who we got from our rivals at St Duthers, who was a 6'5" winger slash striker slash midfielder. I don't really know. Yeah, he was a bit of an odd one. I wanted to weaken St Duthers a little bit, and I needed a bit of depth on the wide side, and he just offered something else because he was so tall. So we ended up picking him up. His stats are not that amazing. I liked his pace and how quick he was for his height and how high he could jump. He scored a few goals. Not many of them were headers. I think maybe 2. Maybe 2 headers he scored, but he's not able to head the ball. So he was a bit of an odd one, but he was a bit of a meme, and obviously with a name like that, yeah. Sorry if you're watching, Finn, I do apologise, but there's no secret there. He won't be staying again. Ewan McPherson I think he was a really good signing. We actually picked him up from Annan Athletic. He came out, he left them on a free, and this is from inside the Football League. So he's dropped down 2 levels to play for us, and as you can see, he had a really good season for us. His stats don't really tell the full story, neither does his star rating. For this level, he's a really, really strong player. He's done really well for us, 8 assists, and Rochelle Service, if you remember, was the youngster that played on the left wing. He had a really bad injury for most of the season, so McPherson stepped in and took his starting spot effectively. So yeah, he was a really handy player, and as you can see, we've already got him on next year's deal as well. And then Ewan Smith, who we got from Brufty, who, as you may know, are the sort of team from one of the other divisions that's really strong, and they're always winning their league. I think they went invincible this year, actually. He's a bit of an older guy. He was I picked up as like a fringe centre half. He did okay. I got him again just because I thought he's useful to have. Bit of experience in the team, in the dressing room, might help out some of the younger lads, and would fill a role if ever needed. He knows he's not expecting a lot of game time, so he's filling a hole there for us at centre half. And then we had Brian Johnston, who actually went back. He was on loan. I needed a backup right back on loan. He played 5 times. The manager got upset that he wasn't playing and recalled him, and that's to be honest, that's the end of that. So yeah, that's our transfer business, and yeah, I'll talk you through how the season went now. So yes, you can see there, we didn't win the league. We fell 5 points short of Bernard Bridge. In what was statistically our best year, we didn't win the league. We had 59 points. We've not had 59 points in the other 2 seasons that we've had. We did not win the league. It was a frustrating year. It was a very, very frustrating year. Let me just talk you through the season. I mean, pre-season was fine. The start of the season, well, couple of nice wins in the league, starting us off thinking, okay, this is going to be a good year this year. And then we sort of stuttered a little bit in a few cup competitions. So, getting knocked out of there on penalties by Brora. Even though the better team in the division above, tough loss there. Beat 1-0 against Kinane County A in the Football Times Cup, and then we got a win in the prelim round of the Scottish Cup, so that was always good, and playing well in the league as well. And at this point, things were good, but we were great, but there was somebody even better than us, and unfortunately, that was the case of how things happened. So, knocked out of the football quarter-final Times Cup by St Duthers, and then knocked out of the Scottish Cup again by Garla Ferrydean Rovers, as you would have saw from last season was the same story. But again, still winning in the league, still picking up points. We then lose a league game to St Duthers, who were having a really bad year. 4-1 we lost, 4-1. And as you can see, you can sort of see where things start to take a bit of a tumble. And we rebound really well from that and pick up 3 consecutive wins in the league before drawing with Bernard Bridge at this point, who are right on our tails. And then December was a bit of an odd month. 1 win, 2 draws and a loss. And that is immediately where it all flips on its head, and Bernard Bridge start to take the initiative and take the lead. So then we're followed up by another draw in the beginning of January, then a win, and then another win in the North Cali Cup. And then you look at the form, like, we don't do anything wrong. 1 game we drop points, but at this point, we're like 4 or 5 points behind Bernard Bridge. They had an exceptional season. I would call it a Leicester City-esque season, is what they had. And frankly, it was remarkable that we didn't win the league. And I really thought if we would have won the league this year, this would have been our year that we would have gone up. Because I thought that the team who would have been coming down from the Highland League would have been beatable, much, much beatable. I mean, yeah, we won all our games in March, and then we actually ended up losing our final game of the season to Bonnard Bridge. We actually got to a point here where we played third, which was Nairn St Ninian, and we beat them, knowing that we could go into our final game of the season. If we won it, we would win the league. And we didn't, because they were just stronger than us. They were just stronger than us. And I can also say, Bernard Bridge, you look at just look at their season. They actually started out with a draw and a loss, and then they didn't lose. They didn't lose until February, where they played third, and then they didn't lose in the league. They didn't lose. They drew there with Inverness, and then just won. And that then obviously got them a spot in the playoffs, which they then won. They beat Brufty, who are unbeaten in their league for like a year and a half now. And then they beat Dice as well, 3-2. So it was a tough game against them. But again, that they see them both off, which then of course gets them a spot in the big boy competition. And then yeah, they are promoted. They beat Lossiemouth from the Highland League 3-2 on aggregate, 1-1, 2-1, at home, and a 1-1 draw. And I don't really know how to feel. I don't know whether to feel pleased for them, angry, jealous, frustrated. I'm sort of a mixture of all of them. I can't really believe it. So that means that for the first time ever playing this save, a team from our league has finally got promoted out of it via the playoffs. And Lossiemouth, who you can just about see came bottom with 22 points, will be playing probably in our league next year. I'm trying to think about where they are. I think they'll be playing near where we play. I don't really know where they are. I don't really know where Lossiemouth is, I'm afraid. As a geography nerd, I feel like I should know, but no. So yeah, Bonar Bridge, or Bernard Bridge, sorry, they're sort of colloquially known as Bonar Bridge. Could you look at the name? They are promoted. I mean, just you look at the squad, and I'm thinking, I'm going to tear this team to shreds next year because I'm going to pick up everyone. I mean, looking at their sort of star players, you've got Shay Riley, who got 33 goals. He's going to be wanted by teams in leagues above. I did try to sort of sneakily scum her offer by trying to upset him before we play them. Didn't work. I could just sign him. There is also that, so I might end up doing that if he wants to drop back down. Other than that, I mean, you've got Chris Stewart here on loan that had like 14 assists with his one crossing. I don't know. He's on loan from Pollock. When we look at sort of average rating, you've got Murray Carstairs at the back. There's nothing about any of these players that sort of scream, oh yeah, these are much better than the level we're at. I mean, he's quick and he's got a bit of dribbling ability, but really they're just, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, they are promoted and they finally made it out of them. So congratulations to them. And if there's any Bonner Bridge fans out there, well done. Definitely not bitter. But I mean, to be fair, he's not a bad goalkeeper. Like, so to have those sort of stats, despite the fact they're not very well balanced, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, so that is how the season went on. I just want to end up by just sort of telling you how we're going to transition now into the fourth year and how I'm going to do things a little bit differently. So I've actually already designed a tactic that I actually want to use moving forward. I think it's time to drop the 4-2-4 wing play. I think we just need to be a bit more original. That's not to say it won't work, but I think to take that next step, we just need to be a little bit more unique. We need to play a different way that people aren't going to expect. So I think we play with only one striker and we play with another one in midfield, and we have that target man up there. We have that man to aim for. We just try and play a bit more football. That's all I'm trying to get us to do. I'm not trying to rewrite the book or anything like that. You know, I'm still playing in a pretty similar manner. You know, I'm still playing quite low and sort of waiting to counter attack. I still want us to go down the wings. You know, I still want us to play a not too indirect way, quite keep it direct a little bit, but just mix things up a little bit. And as you can see, like, I've tried to put in the players that we've already got signed on and where they're going to play. I've already seen that Greg Stewart is a really, really solid number 10, so I'm sort of basing the tactic around him. We've got the wingers, we've got the midfield, we've got most of the back line as well. Bear in mind, these are all players that are signed on. All these players, as you can see here, are all signed on till 2026. But there's still a few players I want to get back. I want to get Dean Watson back. However, he's not signing a new deal at the minute. Ramage, I think I've set him to be released. Delday, unfortunately, Liam Delday, the legend that is of Orkney, played there since he came over. I am going to let him go because I just think it's time we freshen things up a little bit. We just need to get some of the older guard out. As Cheney wasn't going to stay. Never mind. MacArthur, don't think I need to be keeping him. Ebbs doesn't want to stay. The backup goalkeeper, I'm going to be getting a new goalkeeper in. Service wants to leave. So there is going to be a bit of a rebuild here. All of these players, apart from maybe one, I mean, I kind of want... There's a couple of players I'm thinking about maybe keeping, but if we want to reach that next step where Bernard Bridge is, we need players of a certain calibre. We need players with just that little bit more. Not just that they're good enough for our level, but they're miles better than our level. And they've got some experience on their shoulders. Because there's one thing that I've noticed about this team. They do not like big matches, and they do struggle in big matches. Apart from one or two, they really struggle in big matches. So, when I'm looking at I'm looking towards the likes of Brett Galvin, who's got that extra bit of quality that not everyone's got. I'm looking to the likes of Greg Stewart, who's got a little bit more technique and a little bit more technical ability than a few others. I'm looking at players like Matthew Henderson, who have been growing so much more in this team. I mean, in the first season, I was unhappy. I was nearly going to get rid of him, and his development has been so much better, especially after he had quite a long injury in the second season. I'm really looking to him to hit the next level. Ben Cameron's another one. He's still only 23. He is a stalwart at that back line now. He is our first choice centre half. I look to Craig Thompson, who has been really good for us, but he's 34 now. I want to find someone who's better than him. If I can't find anyone better than him, well, we got him, but I want to find someone better than him. Instead of bringing in people below the first tiers, and below the first choices, I want people to replace them, and I want to better this team now. I think we really need to take that next step now. Financially, it means spending money we haven't got. The wage budget is extremely healthy. I don't know where they're finding it because we've been in debt all year. As you can see, I've been sort of splashing the cash because I felt like I needed to. But it's necessary to get out of this league. It's absolutely necessary, but I'm trying to do it at a manageable level where we are only losing a certain amount of money. I have an idea in my head of how much money we can lose over the course of a season and be okay, because I know it gets recouped at the end of the year with sponsorship deals and payouts from cups and leagues and all that. So and a good Scottish Cup run would always help that as well. So that's how we are as a club. I mean, we're not that far off. We're really not that far off. We're just a bit unfortunate that we've had a year where we've played really, really well and a team has just done better. I mean, if I look again at the league, you just look, they lost 2 games, we lost 3. One was to them, that St. Duthers 4-1's going to look back, and we lost to Clacknacudd in A. Like, just these odd results that don't happen, but that is the fine line. It's a 26-game season, and you can't afford to lose 3 games. That's just the way it is. The 5 draws as well, there's a couple in there. I mean, there was 3 2-alls that could go either way. I mean, their 2 losses were to Nairn and St. Duthers. They weren't even to us. So, yeah, really frustrating, really annoying, but I have absolutely no perversion to the fact that this isn't going to happen. This is going to happen, and I am still motivated for it to happen. So that is everything. That is your update on the save. That is the end of season 3. There's not really much else to say other than here's hoping season 4 is much better for us. And yeah, let's get to the roundup and talk things for season 4. There you have it. That is everything on season 3, and you are caught up with everything on the save. You are completely up to date. There has been no progress on the save since then, and I'm hoping over the next few days, as we run up to Christmas and there's a little bit more time on our hands, that I can have a really good transfer window and move things through into season 4. In terms of how things for season 4 are going to operate, I don't know if it's going to be coming at the same sort of pace. I got through season 3 really quickly. I don't know if season 4 is going to be the same. I think I'm going to have to take a little bit longer. just because of real life stuff, you know, in job and stuff in the new year that's going to affect things. So ultimately, after this one, I think there might be a little bit of a slowdown in the rate that things go out. Well, that's no problem for you. It's always going to be there. You can always go back and watch over old videos and old reviews if you want, and of course you can go and watch the streams over at twitch.tv/jamstock, and you can go and watch all the VODs, all the streams back on there. They're all available. I think they might be up for 30 days, I'm not quite sure, but they're all there, they're all published, they're all copyright free, there's no music, but you can just have it on in the background and you can catch up there if you really want to. But yeah, all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. Have a very happy Christmas if you do celebrate, a great new year. See you in 2023 for more content based around this channel and on the stuff I'm doing over on Twitch. And yeah, I'll see you here for another video soon. Take it easy. See you later.